welcome to episode 6 of Hashing It Out with Paul Hash. I'm Paul Hash, and this is the show where I ask the questions that everybody forgot to ask. On this episode, we will be taking a psychedelic trip inside the warped mind of Frank Zappa. So join me now as we go really close to that satellite, probably, and talk to Frank Zappa. You have been criticized heavily for an article you wrote a few years back regarding Stevie Wonder's inability to read music, and also for suggesting that he replace all electric guitar parts on his songs with the pan flute. Your response?
I had written in articles at that time that I thought what should be done, since he wasn't musically literate, he couldn't write it down himself, that he should be put in some sort of working relationship with somebody who could write his ideas and have them scored for instruments other than the electric guitar.
In recent months, there has been a dramatic increase in reported incidents of people shaving their dogs' asses and making them walk backwards. Your thoughts?
I mean, anybody who thinks that these were isolated incidents, just isolated crackpots, I see a trend, I see a mysterious hand.
What is your opinion regarding the conspiracy theory that every U.S. president since LBJ is required to have a bat phone on his desk in case the need arises to summon Batman?
I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I think that it's been the idea that the possibility that certain types of conspiracies have existed in American politics, just because they've existed before, would allow you to project that they could continue to exist to this day.
Arizona has a legendary mythical creature called the jackalope, supposedly a combination between a jackrabbit and an antelope. Do you believe the jackalope is real?
I saw one once. I think they're out there. What they are, I don't know.
Frank, there is something scary going on in my neighborhood. Twice a week, and always early in the morning, my neighbors will place a large plastic bag full of something on the curb in front of their house as if to appease some supernatural entity. In a matter of a few hours, those bags will mysteriously vanish. Do you think this could be the work of aliens?
To automatically assume that everything is the work of an extraterrestrial intelligence, I think would be a mistake. To automatically assume that things that you can't understand are supernatural occurrences, I think that's a mistake. I think that because physics as a science is so imperfect, that we may discover eventually that some of the more baffling things that we experience as phenomenon will later be described in very precise terms using tools which we don't have now, but which will be developed later to give more rational explanations for stuff that is too scary.
Frank, as we all know, in the movie E.T., he phoned home. Now, the toll charges on that call had to be enormous. Do you think it's wrong of us to collect calls to outer space just out of spite?
I think that the idea of space exploration is worthwhile, but I think that to pursue it just because we want to connect with a race of superior beings with this, superior intellect, who will then come down and bestow wisdom on this particular race is a mistake. If there is such a species out there, if they really were smart, they wouldn't have anything to do with us.
Frank, as you may know, scientists have recently improved on the whoopee cushion by inventing one that is filled with chocolate milk. Although it is funnier, wouldn't that just wind up ruining everyone's furniture?
The only thing that the human species can do perfectly is make a mess out of stuff. I mean, it's so easy for anything that is a human organism to just cause destruction, because we have this ability to invent destructive things.
Do you think we should impose fines on politicians like this congressman from Ohio who thinks he's doing the right thing by wanting to bomb the Amish because his intelligence shows that they've been quiet too long and must be planning something?
So maybe the best thing is to find these people, because we'll spend a lot of money and we'll go out there and we'll get the superior intelligence and think that he's going to help us out, and he will, just by blowing us up.
Frank, Ronald Reagan received heavy criticism regarding his failed plans to have the U.S. mail delivered by feral cats. Do you think that was a good idea?
But it did put a lot of people to work, and it did make the country feel special for a minute. I thought it was a good thing.
Frank, you recently took part in the largest charity concert event in the United States history, Pigeon Stock, where you helped raise millions of dollars to build statues for homeless pigeons across America. How'd that go?
I think that it was an important social event in the social history of the United States. It was important.
Rolling Stone magazine recently just voted Los Angeles as the #1 city in which you are most likely to have accidental sex with a ferret. In your experience, is that true?
I mean, Los Angeles was a fantastic place to get laid in. Plenty of variety, and it was great. And it was going on long before they started talking about it in the 70s.
Frank, you're from California. What do you think of your governor's decision to ban parking lots from all businesses and establishments?
In the United States, it's one of those things that seems to be a high priority for the types of administrations that we've been having recently.
Frank, as you can see, I am a Caucasian. Now, although I've never been to Caucasia, I do feel for the plight of its citizens who are forbidden by its government from showing any skill or talent at dancing. Can we still call this country a democracy?
Even though we call this country a democracy, it's turning out to be more and more a candy-coated dictatorship.
Okay, I want to thank everyone for joining me on this latest installment of Hashing It Out with Paul Hash. I'm Paul Hash, and I will always ask the questions that everybody forgot to ask. Don't forget to join me next time when my special guest will be the godfather of soul, James Brown. So remember, watch out where the Huskies go, and don't you eat that yellow snow. And join me on the next episode of Hashing It Out with Paul Hash.
Boy, they got a host of
Excuse me.